What are some learner engagement strategies that you plan to employ when we return to school? Names are hidden for privacy reasons, but you can see in the top right-hand corner of my screen that I did have about half of you all participate, and I have some different answers. Someone shared that they want to just stay consistent, use the same platforms in class as in virtual. That is excellent. Think, pair, share. Boom cards, Nearpod, exactly. That's the reason why we are here today. Not only can we teach flexibly with Nearpod, but it is a great engagement tool. See some others, Ms. Vasquez?
I can't really.
Oh, quizzes, Kahoot, that keeps them engaged.
And rewards.
Mm-hmm. All right, awesome. And some fun activities. And then someone said that they are unsure, and that is okay too. Hopefully with today's PD, you will walk away feeling a little bit more secure and just have an overall general idea of how you can use Nearpod to increase student engagement and also be flexible in your delivery of your lessons. Today's agenda, we are going to talk about 3 different things. The first thing we are going to talk about are some tips and tricks on getting ready. We also have 3 instructional modes of Nearpod, which are live participation using Zoom, student-paced using Schoology, and front of class. And last but not least, we do have a few resources, and if there are any questions that we can answer at the end. Also, if you have questions throughout, please feel free to, let us know. Ms. Vasquez is going to, monitor the chat and let me know if there are any questions. But for now, we're going to go ahead and talk about the tips and tricks. All right, so if you are needing more flexibility in creating and presenting Nearpod lessons, there are 2 items that we definitely want to see you have access to on your devices. So the first one is the Google add-on. And I'm just curious, and you can give me a thumbs up. Do any of you already have the Google add-on for Nearpod? Any of you?
You can use the reaction button to give us a thumbs up, or you can answer in the chat. Okay, I see 1 out of 26.
I see 1 thumbs up, I know, so that's awesome. So the Google add-on is going to be really beneficial, and I'm gonna show you how to add that to your Chromebook or your device in just a second. But the Google add-on basically takes your Google Slides where you create your lessons, your presentations, things to share with your students, but you're able to have all of the Nearpod buttons so that you can deliver and create your lesson right there in Google Slides. I know that there might be some teams that collaborate and share their lessons. I've seen in some classes where teachers are creating their lessons, let's say for science, right there in Google Slides, and then they share them with the team. So you are able to take that slide and then push it into Nearpod. So I'm going to show you how to get that Google add-on. And again, we are recording this, so we will be sharing this out. You can, do this now, or, you can go ahead and do it later. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is open a new tab, and I am going to go to, I'm just going to jump directly to Google Slides. Okay. Once I'm here, I'm going to look for something either that I've already used with my students in class or something that I do plan on using. And in the Google Slides toolbar up at the top, I'm going to click on add-ons and then get add-ons. And I am going to search just for Nearpod. And once that add-on appears, I click on it, and then I'm going to click install. And I'll get a pop-up window, click continue. I'll have to verify my school credentials. Click allow. And once I get the message that Nearpod has been installed as an add-on, I can click done and exit out of this. So again, I have my lesson right here that I created in Google Slides. So all I have to do now is click add-on. Nearpod has been added, and now I'm going to open Nearpod. So basically it takes the platform of all of the icons that you have on the Nearpod website, and it pushes them into Google Slide. So from here, I can take my lesson that I previously created using Google Slide or my teammate shared with me, and I can tweak it to be a little bit more engaging with my students. I have a collaborative board. I can add in vocabulary. I can do a memory test. I can add PDFs. I can do polls. So all of the add-ons that you have on nearpod.com, you are able to then have them right here. So for example, if I want to add vocabulary to my poetry unit, I would click here. I can simply click add. Okay. And it took that vocabulary video and added a new slide to my already existing lesson. So once I click save and go to Nearpod, a new tab appears. I am taken to nearpod.com, and it is now saving, once I verify my school credentials and click allow, because Google wants to communicate with Nearpod and make sure it's okay. It is taking all of the slides, my lesson that I created, and it is creating that lesson on Nearpod. So that's something that you can do if you add the add-on to your Google Slides. So I just want to stop there and see if there are any questions about that tip and trick for grabbing that add-on in Google Slides.
There aren't any in the chat.
Okay. Are we okay to move on? All right, I'm gonna do it. So let me get back to my other tip and trick that we have is the Schoology app. And so this app was actually pushed out to everyone. It was pushed out by the district. So everyone has the Schoology app added within their Schoology course. And I should say the Nearpod app in Schoology. So once you log into Schoology and you're in your courses, you will notice on the left-hand panel of your course that I have this Nearpod app that has been added. So once you click on it, and I've already given the permissions to sync Nearpod with Schoology. The first time that you do it, you will be prompted to, log in with your Google account, just the security features in place. But once you give the permissions to sync your Nearpod in Schoology, you will notice that everything that I see on the nearpod.com website is now kind of pushed into your Schoology course. So it just creates kind of like a one-stop shop. I can do everything in my Schoology course instead of going out to, nearpod.com and creating a lesson from there. So it's just a matter of preference. You just have the flexibility of creating your lessons for Nearpod right here in Schoology. So hopefully you all have seen that, played around with it a little bit, but I just wanted to make sure that you are aware that it is there for you to use. Any questions? So those are
No.
the two tips and tricks that we have for you. All right, no questions, okay. All right, so live participation using Zoom. When you create your lessons in Nearpod, when you choose to have your lesson shared with your students in live participation, you as the host, the educator, the instructor, you are controlling the pace of your lesson and your videos while your students participate on their devices. Now, whether they are in person on their device or whether they are in a Zoom meeting, such as you all are today, you are controlling the pace. So when I shared that link with you all in the chat, I did so using the live participation. So that's what you see in the first image. And the second image, after you choose live participation, a pop-up box appears. And I simply clicked on link and I shared that link. And to me, when students are, participating on their devices, that is one of the easy ways to share it out, in the chat in Zoom. Of course, you can go to nearpod.com or join.nearpod.com, which, it shows you in that second image. And your students or your audience can go ahead and enter that code. So it's just a matter of preference. And I'm just going to pop out and show you just firsthand what that looks like. So I have a couple of different activities in Nearpod. So if I just take my cursor and hover over the assignment that I created, I would just click live participation. It generates a new code and I just click link. And from here, it shares a link. So I would just copy it automatically, Control C or copies that link. And then I would take that link and plop it into the chat. But like I said, you can also tell your students, hey, you can go to join.nearpod.com, enter this code, and then they would be connected with you there. So, and again, you would be able to, control that lesson. Any questions when it comes to the live participation using Zoom? And again, this is for your synchronous lessons when, it would be great for whole group instruction when you are, leading the class in activities and what am I trying to say? Activities and discussions. So that would be great for live participation. And I'm sure some of, I'm sure a lot of you are already using Nearpod and are, used to the live participation because that's just, what we're doing now. Any questions for live participation?
No, ma'am.
Okay, we're quiet today.
I think we're just taking it all in.
Okay, and that's all good too. So just let me know if you have any questions. We'd be more than happy to help. All right, so student paced using Schoology. This is, these are your asynchronous lessons. I like to think of asynchronous alone. The students are alone working on their assignments, their projects, their lessons. This, might be at a time where they are, you know, in small group, collaborating, or maybe your students are in their centers, breakout rooms. So you have the flexibility of using your Nearpod lessons for student-paced or self-guided activities. So again, you can embed that Nearpod content directly into Schoology. You can direct students to join the lessons automatically. There's no code needed. And again, that flexibility, students can complete the lessons and activities at a pace that is convenient and conducive to them. And again, you can access all of Nearpod within Schoology, including the library of pre-made lessons. And hopefully we all know that Nearpod has some wonderful pre-made lessons. They have some, you know, excellent videos that complement, you know, SOLs and other topics that you may be teaching. So student-paced using Schoology. I'm gonna pop out just again. I'm gonna go live and just show you what that looks like. And I'm gonna navigate back to my Schoology course, and I'm going to go to my course landing page. Now, there are a couple of different ways in which you can add these student guided lessons. And one of those ways is to basically just share it in your Schoology course. Let me just go ahead and show this to you. So if I go to add materials, you'll notice that this Nearpod kind of link or app appears alone on the right-hand side. So once I click on that, a little pop-up window appears. And this is a little bit different than the app that is on your left navigation panel. So notice the only thing that I see are lessons that are in my library. These are lessons that I have already created. Okay, I'm not going to be able to access anything other than what I have already created in Nearpod. All right, so I'm just gonna scroll down and I'm gonna use something. All right, I'm gonna use this one, the sight words, primer set 2. And I'm just gonna click on student paste. Okay. Notice that it adds it to the top of my course and it adds it as an external link tool. So you can have your students go directly to your Schoology course when they're in their centers. You can say, okay, you know, here's your assignment. This is what I need you to work on. And your student would simply click on that. And notice that the lesson is right here in Schoology. It doesn't take them to an external location or anything like that. Their name automatically populates because it is synced, you know, with their Schoology course and all the other permissions that have been in place. They would click join lesson. And then from there, they are able to, you know, navigate and advance forward. And they can also navigate back. Again, this is self-guided work for them to do. The one thing that, you know, we did notice is that if you do it this way, there is nothing for the students to turn in, okay? Unless you have an assignment or you give them some other directives on how, you know, you want them to, you know, turn in your work. So again, they are able to advance and things like that, but it is just an external link tool in your Schoology course. The second part of this, if you would like it to be something that they turn in or an assignment, because that's what you are used to doing in your Schoology course, you want to create an assignment. What I would do is I would go to nearpod.com, and you can probably even do it using your left navigation panel. Okay. Here is that same activity that I just shared, student paced. and it showed up using the external link tool.
Scroll up a little bit, Miss Mayo. Thank you.
I'm sorry?
I was just telling you to scroll up a little bit. We can see.
Okay,
Thank
is this good?
Yeah, we couldn't see it at first. Thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you for that. I appreciate it. So if I click student paste, I would go ahead and grab that link. Well, first, I think this is really important. If you have any student responses and you want them to respond, or there's a video in your presentation, in your Nearpod active lesson, and you want the students to see that video in its entirety, make sure you toggle this radio button on. That's important. They will not be able to fast forward, skip through anything. They can't even fast forward the video. They would have to watch it in its entirety. So make sure that radio button is on. I would, again, grab the link, copy it, okay. Navigate back to my course landing page. And I would simply go to add materials and assignments. Again, it's still student paced. I would give it a name, if I can spell. Post that link in. Do everything else you do, your categories, grading period, and then click create. Whereas this time it's gonna push it down to the bottom, so then I can, simply take it and drag and click it back to the top. And then you have your assignment. So then student would use that, that link, that external link, and they could create or, complete their assignment there. Again, self-paced. So showing you all the flexibility of using Nearpod within your Schoology course. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to show you, I'll go back to my Schoology course, Nearpod app, is that you have a lot of, libraries. There's a school library, district, Nearpod library. So when you go and create content, please definitely make sure that, you're using anything that's already, pre-made. It makes life a little bit easier and you're able to tweak it to, your needs. So the next thing that we are going to get into with flexibility using Nearpod is the front of class option that you may see. Now, I know sometimes our, what we have access to, whether it be on Zoom or Nearpod, sometimes doesn't mirror what you, the teacher, that has a class of students sees. So front of class mode is when you have a standalone video and you want students to look at it from your device. That means kind of like on Zoom, if I'm in share screen mode and I have a video that I want to share with my students, just a video. This doesn't include like a lesson or an activity that has a couple of different slides and then you have on the 5th slide a video and it continues on. I'm talking about your standalone videos. When they're not joining from their device, you will get an option that says front of class, okay? To me, this is just another tool in which you can share a video with your students. Depending on your audience, you can also make this video interactive. If any of you have used Play-Posit before, where
Puzzle.
Edpuzzle, okay, thank you. Or Edpuzzle, you can have checkpoints in your video where it will pause and you can ask your audience questions. So that's another way to not only give your audience or your students a purpose for watching the video, but it also adds to the level of engagement. And your students are able to interact not only with each other, but with you. It just opens a door for great, class discussion in a whole group setting. So in the first image, you will see that there's that option for front of class. And in the second image, you will see it says, do you want to turn it into interactive mode? Basically, those are those checkpoints in the video with the questioning. And so you would just click yes if you do want to have those moments of pause where your students reflect and they share and, lead and engage in discussion. So I'm going to pop out and show you what that looks like. I'm going to go back to my Schoology course and my Nearpod app. And you will notice that there are 2 lessons that I have that are video only. And that would be this one right here, which is denoted by that black bar at the bottom with the play button. And then this one right here. So when I take my mouse and I hover over each one of these, I have that option now that says front of class because it is just a standalone video. If I go to my other lessons where I do have, I think our PD session that we did a couple weeks ago had a video inside of it, but I don't have that front of class option. So it's just your standalone videos. But if I click front of class, okay, there's that second image. It's an interactive video. Do I want to make it interactive? The video will automatically pause at those key moments. And then you're able to, engage your audience in discussion. So I'm going to click yes. Okay. And just FYI, this is a video that I actually pulled from the Nearpod library, just the video. And I'll show you that in just a second. But right down here, you will notice that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blue circles, and each one of those are checkpoints. They have questions. If I click on it, I would see the question. And there are 2, they're multiple choice and then they're open-ended. Okay. And so that is how you as the instructor would play the video. And front of class means it's kind of like all eyes up front. Your students need to be looking at whether it's your Zoom shared screen or if they're in person, your interactive whiteboard. It's just another format to have an interactive video. Okay, I am going to exit. And I'm now going to just kind of like create one and show you the different ways in which you can pull in those videos. So I'm going to go to create. And instead of lesson, I'm just going to click video. Okay. Once I click video, Nearpod automatically opens up the Nearpod video library. So I am able right here to select standards within the state of Virginia. I can narrow it down to a subject. I can even narrow it down to a grade. So if I were to click the first one, history of atoms, Nearpod has already included some checkpoints with some questions. And so I can choose to use them. Here's an open-ended question. If I want to preview it, I can simply click edit. Here's my question. If I feel like, oh, that's too much wording for my audience, I can tweak it to the needs of my learners. If I don't like the question, I can even, delete it, which is down here. So I'm just gonna exit out of that. Sometimes we find really good videos, but the video gives us too much information that doesn't pertain to our lesson, or it might just be inappropriate for that particular time. Maybe is something that you haven't taught yet. You can also trim the video, so you don't have to, show it or share it with your students in its entirety. And if I want to add another question, all I would have to do is click and then add activity. Now, of course, you want to make sure that you preview the video and make sure that it's at a good place, a good stopping point for your activity. But there are two options: an open-ended question, your students would have to type in their response, and of course, multiple choice.
So the open-ended question is the one that we showed you in the beginning of this presentation.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me, y'all. But yes, thank you. That's a good point. And so I would just click save. And here's the history of an atom. And I have that option for front of class. I'm just going to go back to create and show you in videos. Say that. So you have your Nearpod video library. You also have YouTube. And notice that it is a safe search. So you can search within Nearpod and it will pull in videos that, are safe for, our students to watch. So just did shapes and then click enter. A topic, and then from here you can, research and pull a video that you would like. And then click save. It's that simple. If you have a video that is either in your drive or, on your desktop, saved somewhere, you would just go to upload video. You can share it with your audience from here. And my videos are simply a collection of the videos that you have, created or you have pulled from, the library, and it will save them here. Okay, so front of class, again, is just sharing a standalone interactive video with your class, which is another engagement tool. Any questions?
I see none, no hands.
No? Okay. We did pull a couple of resources, and, again, if there are any questions or anything that we can clarify, we would be more than happy to do so. We did take some advice from our last PD, and we heard, our audience, and they were saying that, the way in which we shared our presentation, it was difficult to see. And so in our search, we found that there are some Google Slide templates for Nearpod lessons that are sized a little bit differently than your, standard Google Slide template. So we do have a link that we would like to share with you all here. It doesn't include much, but I think, as time progresses, they are going to add more templates. We also have a link integrating Google Slides with Nearpod. And also, if you'd like to look a little bit further into creating your own Nearpod lessons, we have a link there as well. We didn't necessarily go over how to create a Nearpod lesson, especially from scratch today, just because I know that was a two-part, was it a two-part PD back in January, Ms. Vasquez?
Yes, I think it was offered twice.
Right, it was, and we know that there probably were other, PD sessions that may have been mandatory, and you may not have had a chance to, get to one of those and creating your own Nearpod lesson. So if there is anything that, we can do to work with you one-on-one, or creating another time set aside if anyone needs a little bit more support, we are more than willing to, do that and work with you as well.
So I'll put that, the information in the chat if you need our assistance, how to contact us.
Thank you. All right. Temperature check.
Oh, one of the, go back and can you go back and show?
Yeah.
Add the, add-on again?
Show the add-on again? Absolutely.
And then the question is, if I'm in a breakout room, can I share a Nearpod lesson with only a few of the students?
That is a good question. Okay, I'm going to circle back to that one in just a second. I'll do the add-on first and then come back to that question.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So with the add-on, you want to make sure that you have Google Slides pulled up. You know, Google Slides is an open tab somewhere, you know, on your device. And right at the top in your toolbar, there's a button that says add-ons. And what you want to do is click on that and then click Get Add-ons. And then you're simply going to search. I like to search because then it just narrows everything else down, moves it away. And so you can see that I already have mine installed, but what you would do is, it says I can't see it, but Nearpod something for Google Slides. And once you click on it, this button right here should be blue and says install. And once you click on that, you'll be prompted to, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, like log in, you know, verify your credentials basically with Google. And it'll prompt you throughout the rest of it. And then you click done. And so when I go to add-on, my add-on will be right here and it will say Nearpod. So then I just click open Nearpod and it will populate on the right-hand side. Okay. So notice that nothing populated. I want to edit this lesson, especially since I already saved it and it saved it to my Nearpod application. So once I click edit this lesson, then all of those Nearpod features pop up again and I can now edit my lesson.
And the other question was
Okay.
about sharing the Nearpod session in a breakout room, Nearpod lesson.
So sharing the Nearpod lesson in a breakout room, if I were in a in a breakout room with a group, I would think that you would still be able to, you know, within Schoology, click on Nearpod, you know, find your, let me go back. You know, go to your lesson, you know, click live participation. I don't necessarily know if sharing it in the chat would be okay at that point. And the reason why I say that is because if you share the link in chat and you have a group in a breakout room, everyone that is connected in your Zoom meeting is going to see that link. Okay, so if that's the case, I'm in a breakout room with a handful of students, I would click, you know, live participation, and I'm just going to click resume because that's what I have. It's going to give me the code. And at that point in time, I would probably just tell my students that they need to go to join.nearpod.com and enter this code, especially for my small little cohort of students. The other thing, if you are just super uber organized within your Schoology course, you know, you can create a chart, you know, that has your student names and, you know, we're going to use this, you know, Nearpod code at this time, or, you know, just something where the students can visually see it in your Schoology course. That's
And
another option, to explore. I don't know how complicated that would be, but I guess it's just the sharing of the code when you're in that small group setting in that breakout room. I would not put it in the chat at that point in time.
And then Miss Francis says, you do have, since you do have access to the chat, you could just send it directly to specific students.
Absolutely. That's a good point. Thank you.
One good thing I was thinking too, that you could, the kids who are in other rooms, like if you have them in, center style while you're working with a group of students, then you could use the option, the asynchronous option in Schoology, where those kids do the students paced activity.
Mm-hmm.
And that will give them another option for that particular breakout session.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point too. Yeah. So hopefully that answers the question. If not, let us know.
I don't see any other questions. In the chat, we put the survey for today so that you can tell us how well we did and where we need to improve, because we do get that feedback, and you can be perfectly honest. That helps us to know, just like we were able to change this particular session using the feedback we had previously. Then also, if you didn't get a chance and you came in a little bit later into our session and we had already started, the sign-in sheet is there as well. Also, the ITRT assistance form, in case you need either of us for not just Nearpod, but any of your tech integration needs. And then additionally, we you already should have had, but we shared again, the link to today's Nearpod. All of these, this entire session, and also the slides from the session will be put in our courses. We have the new teacher course and we have the returning teacher course. And so if you have not had a chance to get into the course and get registered, just let us know. You can just reach out to us and let us know. We can get you put in there or show you how to sign up. But we're here to help you. And we know that you have some concerns as far as reopening but it is my understanding that we will continue to have sessions to help you as we move forward. But just know that we are here, and all you have to do is just reach out to us. Okay?
Absolutely, yes.
Do one-on-one, what we call face-to-face is our Zoom virtual right now. And we can also do that in small groups for sessions like this.
Yeah. Thank you. That's so true. And so last but not least, if you kind of navigate back to the Nearpod lesson, the activity for today, there is a temperature check question, and just be as honest as you can. Just moving forward, how comfortable are you in using Nearpod flexibly with your students, whether that is, what is it with the video, whether that's using it synchronously or asynchronously, sharing that Nearpod link with your students so that they can work self-guided, or whether it's teacher-driven, a live lesson. How comfortable are you with using it, Nearpod, with your students?
And hopefully for those of you all who said you haven't had the opportunity yet to create a Nearpod lesson, hopefully what we shared today will also help you when you begin to create that lesson.
Yeah. And I know Ms. Baskett said it already, but please reach out to us, so that we can help. If you have any questions, if you need help creating a lesson or an activity using Nearpod, or just want to chat about some ways in which you can, use it moving forward, please let us know.